Taking a look at problem number 217, contains duplicate. This is a really simple intro LeetCode problem. So let's take a look. So given an integer array, we need to return true if any value appears at least twice in the array, and then return false if every single element is distinct. Now, your first approach to this may be to use potentially a double for loop, right? But we know that that will have an n squared time complexity. We can definitely do better. And the way we're going to do better is using a hash set. Now, we remember that hash sets allow us to check whether an element is in a set or not in a set in linear time. And so that's going to reduce our time complexity down to O of n here. Let's take a look at how. First, we'll want to initialize a hash set that will be composed of integers because we're dealing with an integer array here. And we're going to have a hash set composed of integers, and we'll just call this h. And let's go ahead and initialize it. Perfect. Now that we've initialized our hash set, all we're going to want to do is iterate through our array and check if the number that we are currently looking at has already been seen in our array. If not, we're going to want to add it to our hash set so that we can check future numbers against that number. Doing that is going to be only a few lines of code. So for every integer n in our array nums, we're going to want to first check if h, our hash set, contains our number n. And if it does, then we know that this is a duplicate number. It has appeared at least twice. And so we can simply return true. There is a duplicate element. Otherwise, all we need to do is add our current number n to our hash set h. And then if we go through every single number and not a single one of them contains a number that's previously been seen, then we know that there is no duplicate and we can return false here. And so what you'll see is that we have a very simple solution that runs in O of n time and O of n space. The reason for that is because we're creating this hash set that in the worst case will be composed of n elements in the case that there is no duplicate. And so our space complexity there is going to be O of n, where n is the number of elements in nums. Our time complexity is also going to be O of n. The reason for that is because in the worst case scenario, we iterate through the entirety of that nums array once. And because this contains operation is a linear time operation, and adding is also a linear time operation, each of those just takes a single time unit. And so terminally we have our optimal solution in O of n time and O of n space for contains duplicate. Let's go ahead and submit this solution, see if it works. And indeed, we do get the proper solution. So that is number 271, contains duplicate, solved.